Call 0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, or 0902 745 3931. Follow us on our social media platforms at High Impact 1021 FM. Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Welcome to the newspaper review on your urban life station. It's High Impact 102.1 FM. My name is Esther Kalu, and this is the newspaper review. If you just heard that sound, that's what's coming your way in a moment. But I'm not doing this alone today, as always. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Esther. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning to you wherever you're listening to us from. Welcome to the show. Today is Thursday, the 23rd day in the month of March 2023, and the month is gradually coming to an end. I am Sarah Usanta, and this morning Esther and I will be bringing the review, the dailies to you, and we'll be taking your calls and messages as you like to contribute to any story making the rounds on the dailies this morning.
Yes, indeed. I want to say congratulations to everybody from Abia State. I can see felicitations all over the internet, people calling, sending messages to, greet themselves after all that went down during the elections. Finally, a winner has been declared for the gubernatorial elections in the state. I mean, there was a lot of, how do I put it now? There was a lot of uncertainty as to how things would turn out. But when people vote and there is excitement at the end of the day, it shows that this is what they asked for, this is what they want. But I'm not an emotional person when it has to do with matters like this. I'm not emotional because 4 years is a long time. And 4 years is, I won't say, it's 4 years is enough time to know whether the felicitations you are giving today was worth it, I'm saying that because if you have been to a place where you saw that things were obviously not right, things don't feel right here, and they make a decision to change it, well, you'll be happy for them. Absolutely. But how they maximize that decision is something else we'll deal with much later on the show. But that's not all we have in the news. Sarah, did you see what CBN said?
Yes, I actually did, and this is coming as NLC have said they would embark on a nationwide protest, and in view of this, the Central Bank of Nigeria has flooded banks with old Naira notes in order to prevent the NLC action. And another interesting thing to note, as we see on the dailies, is the fact that the CBN governor, in person of Emefiele, stated has ordered an end to cash withdrawal limits.
Okay.
He stated this during a meeting with bank CEOs. All of this is coming up in a bid to end the cash scarcity and the cash crunch. But, it's been a very, very difficult time, I must say. The past few months have been a very trying time for Nigerians in terms of the economy, getting access to cash. A lot of people have lost so much money. People that had their salaries paid and had to use about 20% of their money to withdraw their salaries.
You see this that you just said right now?
Have suffered losses.
Yes.
Businesses have suffered losses. Some people have been in a situation where they make transactions. Like, I'm a seller, you come and buy from me, and when you transfer to me, I probably do not get the alert, but then I will see that you're debited. And later, the money gets reversed back to you, and then you don't come back to me. A lot of sellers have had that experience. Beyond sellers, people naturally have also, been in. Some people have had multiple debit withdrawals amongst a number of things. So we hope that with this new development, we would see a change as soon as possible. Recall that when the CBN gave an instruction to follow the order of the Supreme Court, we were hoping that the situation would get better. But the queues at the banking halls, even to make use of the ATM, is not getting better. ATMs are still not dispensing. We've not seen normalcy return yet. And that's what we actually want to see.
That's indeed what we want to see. And you can let us know your top story when you call us this morning. The phone lines will be open shortly. We'll look at 4 major headlines, 4 major newspapers, I beg your pardon. The Punch newspaper, the Guardian newspaper, the Vanguard newspaper, the Daily Trust newspaper. Am I missing any paper out? I think I mentioned all 4, but you can let us know your top story and send us a message wherever you are, watching or listening from. We'll take a break now. When we come back.
Yeah, before we take a break, I'd just like to say that the Ramadan fast
has
commenced today, and we are taking this opportunity to wish all our Muslim faithfuls a blissful month of Ramadan filled with answered prayers. Yes, that's it. All right, we'll take a break now. When we are back, we'll delve straight into the dailies and open the phone line so that you can join us. We'll be back in a moment.
Join us Mondays to Fridays at 7:05 a.m. to 8 a.m. for freshly baked stories on the newspaper review at High Impact 102.1 FM. Follow us on social media at High Impact 102.1 FM or call 0700 1021 1021. You can also send WhatsApp messages to 0907 224 5018. High Impact 102.1 FM, your urban lifestyle station.
Let's discuss big stories from the dailies that caught your attention during the week on The Big Five. Every Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on High Impact 102.1 FM. To share your views, call 0700-1021-1021 on WhatsApp 0907-224-5018. Let's hear your thoughts on The Big Five.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying tuned. If you're just joining us, this is Newspaper Review on High Impact 102.1 FM, and Esther Kalu is still here. Then you can be a part of the conversation. Let us know the story you'd like to contribute to. Central Bank of Nigeria has set to flood banks with the old Naira notes as Emefiele others end to cash withdrawal limits. This is as the NLC has threatened to embark on a nationwide protest. Tell us if you'd like to contribute to this or any other story on the headlines, feel free to be a part of the conversation. The phone lines are open. 0700-1021-1021 is the number to call. Send a WhatsApp message to 0907-224-5018. We're streaming live on Twitter at High Impact 1021 FM and on YouTube at High Impact 102.1 FM. Esther, you have the first paper there with you this morning?
Yes, I do. We'll start with the Vanguard newspaper this morning. It starts with INEC used third-party device to switch results for Tinubu. That statement is accorded to Atiku. INEC used third-party device to switch results for Tinubu. Atiku made that statement, but the writers follows alleges Tinubu's appointee controlled INEC's ICT unit on election day. This is all coming from PDP's presidential candidate. Alleges third-party device installed. Next writer says no server failures as claimed by INEC. Full results not uploaded before declaring winner. Tinubu didn't get 1/4 of FCT votes. All of this is on page 5 on the Vanguard newspaper, and these are heavy statements. But away from that, Guba polls jubilation as OT wins in Abia. Mba emerges in Enugu. That's what I was talking about earlier, that in Abia State there's jubilation going on, and you see that on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. Next says polls will take actions against electoral violence instigators. That's according to the UK government. The US also made that statement recently. Now the United Kingdom have also continued from there. Page 27 gives more details. Terrorists kill 51 Zamfara vigilante men. Abandoned corpse in bushes. Now, this is what we hope not to hear in the news, but really sad one there. Drug trafficking charge. Court declines to stop Abba Kyari's trial. Abba Kyari is back in the news.
Yes, it is.
I think there was just a pause for some time, but he's back in the news. SDG on water. Nigeria may miss 2030 target. That's according to UNICEF. Next, Tinubu not qualified to be sworn in as president. That's coming from Dati Ahmed, and that's on page 8. Inflation pushes pension funds investment in FG bonds to 9.6 trillion naira. And lastly, on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, Ramadan begins today. Sultan made that statement on page 13. Do well to call us 0700 1021 1021. What's your top story today? Or send us a WhatsApp message 0907 224 5018. We're streaming live on YouTube at High Impact 102.1 FM, Twitter High Impact 1021 FM. Do well to send us a message or call us and let us know your top story today.
Right from the Vanguard newspaper, we move to the Punch newspaper on the front page. NLC protest as CBN to flood banks with old Naira notes. The rider says banks get old 1,500 Naira notes from CBN today to prevent NLC action. Another rider says Emefiele orders end to cash withdrawal limits during meeting with bank CEOs. You get details of that story on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Just above that, 146 National Assembly candidates petition tribunals in 12 states. That's a page 2 read. Buhari Islamic Council preach love as Ramadan begins today. You get details of that story on page 13. FEC okays for 154 billion naira for Kano, Niger Republic Rail and others. That's a page 19 read. Meanwhile, on the front page, you see a picture of a celebration and felicitation as Buhari, Osibajo, Obasanjo, Clinton, others hail Tony Elumelu at 60. Congratulations to him. United Kingdom to list electoral offenders, plans sanctions. Esther also took that story on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. You get the story on page 27 on the Punch newspaper. Tinubu away for lesser Hajj and rest. That's coming from his aide. That's a page 8 read. And lastly, on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning, jubilation as Oti wins Abia. PDP retains Enugu. That's a page 13 read on the Punch newspaper. Do well to let your calls come in. 0700 1021 1021 is the number to call. Send a WhatsApp message to 0907 224 5018.
Yes, we're streaming live High Impact 102.1 FM on YouTube. You can leave a message in the comments and let us know your top story for today on Twitter, High Impact 1021 FM. We move very quickly to the Daily Trust newspaper. On the Daily Trust newspaper, it starts with the money matter. CBN releases mopped up banknotes. CBN releases mopped up old notes to banks today. This is one headline that I wish we would get feedback as soon as possible so that people can let us know if cash is in circulation around them. Last time I saw old notes, like I had old notes in my hand, was last week. Yeah, early last week.
Since this whole Naira redesign conversation and the whole conversation started, I have not had access to the old notes, the whole old 1,500 Naira notes. And
in fact, this was just one opportunity I had to collect it, because I still heard someone say 2 days ago that the banking halls are still very full, and that people don't have access to this cash yet. But while listening to someone talking about the Ramadan starting today and how people need money to buy things like fruits from roadside fruit sellers, and how, it's very easy for them to be able to get small things when there is cash. So let's see how it goes. I hope that by the time we come back on air tomorrow, we know that cash is in circulation. We hear people call us to tell us there's cash in my area. But this story has some riders. It says, as NLC threatens mass action. Despite 1 trillion naira in circulation, cash crunch persists. The last rider says, rush for Ramadan shopping amidst naira scarcity and price hike. Away from that, Atiku to tribunal, declare me president-elect or cancel poll.
I saw this headline too, and it's like, okay, but they responded that they should go to court.
Yeah, the way the Vanguard newspaper puts it, the details are quite, I don't know. The details are such they require some level of investigation. But the Daily Trust just goes straight to the point and says, this is how Atiku said it: declare me president-elect or cancel poll. Is that possible? Is it possible
There's
to
a
cancel
process
the poll?
to all this, and I think that's the process that INEC and federal government has been following all along. So this is not the first time we are getting conversations like this after elections.
Yeah.
It's like irregular, where opposition parties question the election, want to go to courts, to verify that the election was free and the winner that emerged is actually the winner and all of that. Almost all the other opposition parties will come out to say, oh, I won the election. So, but there's a structure, there's a pattern to express your displeasure or to, push for what you want, not just coming out to state that declare me the winner or cancel the polls. That's not the pattern that it's been run with.
There has to be data for that. But well, let's see how the court goes on this one. I just don't know how, there's already this mindset in Nigeria that if someone has been declared governor-elect or president-elect, pulling the person out of that position to say you want to investigate might just be, I don't want to say call it the way, I don't want to describe it the way Nigerians describe it. Well, let's see what the court will make out of this case. Away from that, governorship elections, Labour Party wins Abia, PDP retains Enugu. That is on page 11 on the Daily Trust newspaper, and you can keep your calls coming in 0700 1021 1021 on YouTube at High Impact 102.1 FM. You can send us a message in the comments and we'll get it up from there. On Twitter at High Impact 1021 FM. I'll continue with the Daily Trust newspaper, and this is also a new kind of headline. Federal government to install facial recognition in airports. Okay, all right. What difference do you think this is going to make?
Well,
impersonation?
I think that until we get the details, until we know the reason for this particular decision by the federal government, would have a better understanding on the purpose, the effectiveness, or how effective it's going to be, and the reason for this particular move by the federal government.
And the maintenance, Sarah.
Maintenance is another thing, because it's not going to be, most times we spend billions of naira, lots of money to put in structures, infrastructure, and after a period of time it is damaged owing to lack of proper maintenance. So that's another conversation there, and it has to be enough. What I mean is, if we're going through this pattern now, it has to be properly structured, so that when you have something and you're using it all the time, if you have just one thing and a lot of people are using it, it will wear out easily. So there has to be provision for adequate accessibility. It has to be enough for everybody that will be accessing the facility.
Maybe that is something we would look into somewhere on record. But let's move away from that. Intrigues that led to emergence of NNPP's Yusuf as Kano governor-elect. I'm seeing some states that have had a particular political party rule In fact, some since 1999, some since, as late as you can think of. Some political parties that have been holding down some states for years now they've lost their grip on their states, and this is feeling a bit like people asking for a difference. But is the change of a political party okay? I think I'll put it differently. Maybe after 4 years, how it is where people used to, cross carpet, where people move from APC to PDP back to APC. So it feels like people moving from one political party to the other, is it going to make a difference? But now we have leaders emerging from political parties that have never ruled an entire state.
I think that's why we actually run a democracy.
Right.
It is not supposed to be limited or restricted to just a political party for years. People have the right to elect and choose whichever party they want. So I think that we are getting into that phase where people are actually coming out to say, okay, this is who I want to vote for, and their votes are actually counting in some parts of the state and of the country, I must say.
Yes, indeed. Next, here on the Daily Trust, poultry industry faces total collapse after multiple shocks. This is also a delicate story, because if the poultry industry is facing this, what's happening to our chicken and our turkeys, our birds? We'll get into that later on. Buhari cautions against price hike as Ramadan begins today. Yes, market prices normally in this period changes, but the president is giving cautions. I pray that people can take this caution very, very seriously. But that's it. That's as much as I can take on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Do well to call us 0700-1021-1021. Let us know your top story, or send us a WhatsApp message 0907-224-5018 on YouTube at High Impact 102.1 FM, on Twitter High Impact 1021 FM.
To the Guardian newspaper very quickly. Article to Tribunal, declare me winner or order rerun. The writer says Labour Party's OT, PDP's Mba win in Abia and Enugu polls. Adamawa, INEC to conduct rerun in 69 polling units. And the last writer says, don't swear in Tinubu and Shetima, dirty cautions. Those are the writers to that story. Just above that, NLC threatens strike as Central Bank of Nigeria orders banks to come for old notes. That's a page 3 read on the Guardian newspaper. World leaders hail Elumelu's impact on Nigeria and African economy. Get details on page 3. Scientists link hormonal contraceptives with breast cancer. You might want to read this up. It's going to be insightful. It's on page 4 on the Guardian newspaper. Ramadan fasting begins today. Yes, we took that earlier. Moving away from that story, healing can't happen without justice. Rhodes Vivor replies Tinubu. You want to get updates? That's a page 5 read on the Guardian newspaper. And lastly, on the Guardian newspaper, blame yourself for your defeat. PDP chieftain tells Namani. That's on page 7. All of these are the headlines making the rounds on the front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Do well to be a part of the conversation. Call us on 0700-1021-1021. Send a WhatsApp message to 0907-224-5018, and we'll do well to take your calls and your messages. We're due for a break now. We'll be back in a moment to continue the review. Do stay tuned.
What did you do when you got that Easter break off work last year? Nothing? What about the year before? Same old nothing? Take this as your cue to snap out of that boring routine. Be extra about your Easter this season. Come make delightful and unforgettable memories with your family and friends at High Impact Amusement Park. From the 7th of April to the 10th of April 2023, everything will be perfect perfectly curated to create extreme Easter excitement. Good food and drinks, fun games for adults and children, a fully functional gym, service departments, and a lounge. All in a safe and secure environment. The best part is, when you buy 2 access tickets, you get 1 access ticket completely free. Yes, 1 access ticket free. Vouchers for games can be purchased at the park. For more inquiries, call these numbers: 0814-229-9509 or 0812-271-4373. You simply don't want to be left out. Terms and conditions apply. High Impact Planet Amusement Park and Resorts, destination of choice. Join us Mondays to Fridays at 7:05 a.m. to 8 a.m. for freshly baked stories on the newspaper review at High Impact 102.1 FM. Follow us on social media at High Impact 102.1 FM or call 0700 1021 1021. You can also send WhatsApp messages to 0907 224 5018. High Impact 102.1 FM, your urban lifestyle station.
Madam, let me have my food, please. Oh boy, now
Hello. Excuse me. Come and buy what we are selling, oh. For Food Only Canteen FFO is now open every weekday. Yes, we sell off-white rice with tomato sauce, big jollof rice, off-cream fried rice, low budget ewagoyi and bread, plus daily jara of special delicacies. From 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. only on High Impact 102.1 FM. FFO Canteen. With trenches food, we stand.
Case dismissed. About this food should not be small.
Put a touch of class and finesse on your brand by advertising with us at High Impact 1021 FM. For more information, call 0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, or 0902 745 3931. Follow us on our social media platforms at High Impact 1021 FM. Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Join us Mondays to Fridays at 7:05 a.m. to 8 a.m. for freshly baked stories on the newspaper review at High Impact 102.1 FM. Follow us on social media at High Impact 102.1 FM or call 0700 1021 1021. You can also send WhatsApp messages to 0907 224 5018. High Impact 102.1 FM, your urban lifestyle station.
Welcome back to the newspaper review. If you're just joining us, it's 7:33 a.m. What's that? That's 33 minutes past 7, okay? And we started at 5 minutes past 7 right here on your urban lifestyle station. You can let us know what your top story is. We have looked at the Punch newspaper, the Guardian, the Vanguard, the Daily Trust newspapers. And there seemed to be something unique. There's a not unique per se, but there's a news on the Punch newspaper, a headline on the Punch newspaper that we want to look at. That's the Naira crisis. DSS arrest lawmaker elect over Shagamu mayhem. Meanwhile, while we were on break, some calls kept coming in, so you can do well to call us back 0700 1021 1021, WhatsApp 0907 224 5018. Let us know your top story for today. So about the story, Naira crisis, DSS arrests lawmaker elect over Shagamu mayhem. It says a lawmaker elect from the Ogun State House of Assembly, Damilare Bello, has been arrested by operatives of the Department of State Services he was alleged to have masterminded the Shagamu mayhem that left several banks vandalized during the Naira scarcity protests. If you remember clearly, in Ogun State, I think one of the places that had I don't want to describe it as the worst.
Had an intense.
Yes.
protest.
Yes.
They went all out, and in the process vandalized properties. People were injured over the naira scarcity.
I watched what they did to a bank, and I realized that vandalism isn't like it's not a problem solver. It doesn't solve a problem. So if the bank is not giving you cash, why are you destroying the cars in the premises? Like, how would that equate to cash coming out?
A lot of people feel like the only way to have their voices heard or their opinions heard is when they take law into their hands and destroy properties. But like we said at that time, right now, as we're hoping and praying for things to return to normalcy, when things actually return to normalcy, these people would actually pay the price for it, because you've vandalized the banks, you've destroyed the ATM, and then how do you want to make use of it? Because you would now have to probably walk a distance or travel a distance to make use of the facility in another location, because even if these things are going to be fixed, the money that will be used to fix it is money that would have been used to do something else.
Yeah.
But now it has to be channeled into fixing it. So most times we don't think about the long-term effect of our actions. In the spur of the moment, we just decide to make a decision. At the end of the day, that decision doesn't just affect us, but it affects virtually everyone around us.
This is not to say that the court has confirmed. This is an allegation right now, but it just brings to mind what we saw. I remember the governor went around. He was on an Instagram live. He was moving from one part of that property to another part of that property, and I just saw how things that had nothing to do with the naira, properties that had nothing to do with naira scarcity, were affected. And when this whole thing ended, it still didn't bring naira back. It didn't make naira come back. But also, NLC protests CBN to flood banks with old naira notes. Let me see that story. The Central Bank of Nigeria has finally concluded plans to release all 1,000 naira, 500 naira, and 200 naira notes in its custody to deposit banks. The decision is expected to end months of hardships and pains Nigerians have been going through following a controversial CBN naira redesign policy, and this is according to the Punch newspaper. This is the way it is.
So does that mean that if the conversation, because all the headlines that have this story say that in order to avert NLC threatened protests, does this mean that if NLC hadn't come out to make a conversation or to talk about the fact that they were going to embark on a strike and protest, the CBN would have not come out to say something? Because right now it looks like there's so much energy, and they've decided to churn out this money in large quantity. So if it could be done before, why wait till there's a threatened protest, a threatened industrial action, before channeling your energy to making sure that people are comfortable, people are okay?
I understand that point of view, Sarah, but I'm also thinking of how to avoid matters like this, because is the reasons behind the withdrawal of cash, the redesign of cash, is really what's votes buying. Yeah, but aside the votes buying, I'm just wondering, did people really feel the impact of this naira redesign? But we have a call. Hello. Do well to call us back. 07001021 you can send us a WhatsApp message. Hello, good morning. Please speak up. We can barely hear you. Hello, good morning. Do well to call us back. 07001021 and if you are having difficulties trying to reach us, 0907-224-5018. That's where you can send us a message this morning.
It seems the network is having we're having some sort of network glitch, but do not be discouraged. Keep trying to reach us. Keep the calls coming in. We see the calls, but there seems to be some sort of network glitch from the service provider, and it keeps it just keeps cutting off. But then, like Esther said, keep the calls coming in. 0700-1021-1021 is the number to call. Send a WhatsApp message to 0907-224-5018. And this conversation about the CBN and the NLC and having to churn out the old notes, I want to see it play out. I just don't want to hear. I want to see a situation where I walk into the banking hall and in 5 minutes I'm done with whatever I want to do, or I step out. I want to make use of the ATM, and it's so effortless. I just walk there. Gone are those days. It feels like the last time we had a system like that was late last year, early this year.
Yeah.
And that was the last time. We didn't even understand the luxury of it at the time. And then now everything feels so different. It feels like we're in an entirely different space. And I really, really look forward to us going back to that space we were in, where having to visit the bank is not a big deal. Having to carry out transactions is not a big deal.
Let me read a message we have here. It says, "Good morning, High Impact. I'm highly disappointed at CBN Governor Mr. Godwin Emefiele on the issue of Naira redesign. Before now, he stated that one of the basic reasons for redesigning Naira notes is to help eradicate votes buying during elections, and still the progress did not achieve its goals. Rather, it brought suffering and hardship to Nigerians. My own advice to federal government is that it should not take actions that would not be executed. Let Nigerians be and manage their sources. Nigerian leaders are not helping issues at all. They only care about their families." He says, "I am Benedict from Mowe." Benedict, thank you for your message. Keep your messages coming in. 0907-224-5018, or you can call us 0700-1021-1021. In a random conversation, I was having sometime this week, just as the week started. It was really about small businesses in Nigeria and how they crash because of things like this, and how if not well managed, the banking, and this is more like something I would love to discuss, or we can have a conversation maybe with a financial expert as to if we, but I heard the bank CEOs had a meeting overnight. If this is not well managed, are we expecting banks to shut? Like, do we foresee banks shutting down? Banks when this money gets into them, they make their investments, they buy properties, they do businesses, and they are able to use the profits to pay. So if they are not able to do this, like if you and I are not able to keep our money in banks, because these days, when money gets into my account, there's this feeling of wanting to pull it out, because you don't want to be stranded because you don't have cash. Not saying that online transactions have not been helpful. They've been helpful to me somehow, but I realized that I spend more. Let me explain how I mean.
Actually, yes.
I spend more because for each transaction, and not even that. So one time I had to make a payment. I had to make maybe a payment as low as 1,200. There was a 75 naira deduction, and another 10 naira maybe VAT deduction.
Then there's 0.25 as well.
But this transaction happened twice. So like I tried the first one, it didn't go, so I tried it again. So I was deducted 4 times for 2 transactions. So the bits of monies you spend on top of per transaction are things that if you're not careful, you realize that you're not spending the full amount in your account anymore. You're spending more on bank charges because of online transactions. And there is, in fact, one time I went to the market. I had to buy food items, and for each place I buy something as small as tomatoes, I pay with my card. And the POS person says the lowest we saw was 50 naira for charges, and that was because it was a supermarket, inside the market. So she said, oh no, my own charge is 15 naira, because she's the owner of the POS. Okay. But randomly, in fact, someone said 200 naira. I said, why? She said, I'll have to withdraw from your account first and transfer.
That's what they actually
but
do.
Others were collecting. I had to now insist that I'm not going to pay anything more than 100 naira for charges. The 100 naira that I paid was enough to buy another item before I left the market, because I had to buy from different people. So this is not something that is bad. It might just be something that our system has not adapted to it yet.
Actually.
Not every business. I asked someone, why don't you have a POS machine? And she said her business has to grow to a certain stage. She has to have certain amount of money. So for small businesses, I'm not quite sure of how convenient it is for them. Although the tomato and pepper guy close to us, where I stay, already has one. But I don't know how much it makes for him to be able to get one very quickly.
Not every one of them can actually afford to, own a POS machine. But we can only be hopeful, sincerely, because right now Nigerians don't even want to hear we encourage you. I was telling someone the other day, I know that it's been a very rough time, and the person almost picked a fight with me.
Really? Why?
The person felt like I didn't understand the situation she was going through. So don't tell me about being hopeful. If we don't see a difference, we are not. You could see the hurt, the pain. And she said a lot of people are like me. They don't want to hear hope. We just want to see results. So we actually want to see the results. We know the Supreme Court has given this order for a while now, but we can only be rest assured when we see that this cash has started to flow effortlessly like it used to several months ago.
Very true. Very, very true.
But then let's talk about this story. Let's now move to the elections.
Yes.
And there's an update from the United Kingdom where they've said they will take actions against electoral violence instigators. This according to the United Kingdom government. And I'll just quickly take a brief read. It says the UK Minister of State for Development and Africa, Andrew Mitchell, said on Wednesday that his government was prepared to take action against those who engaged in or incited electoral violence and other anti-democratic behaviors and action during the just concluded general elections. Now, the British High Commission in Nigeria disclosed this in a statement on Wednesday. Esther, when you saw this headline, because when I saw it, I really, one thing came to mind. Let this be one of those where we actually see these perpetrators, being brought to book. It's not something that will now be hidden at the end of the day. Let us see the whole process. Let us know what it's like, and let justice be served. Because, like I said on Monday, there were some particular locations where people knew those that came to. I saw a video I mentioned where they were calling the person that came to snatch the ballot box by his name.
Is that person willing? Can that person afford to travel?
Well, that's another conversation.
We hear these things, and I'm thinking sometimes this person looks like he's struggling to feed well. When they say violence instigators, my question is, does it include those who make hate speech, those who are involved, loudly involved in ethnic profiling? Does it include those people? Because we just say electoral violence instigators and our minds go to those trying to snatch ballot boxes. Those people trying to snatch ballot boxes, the one that happened in Okota where I said this INEC official, she was visibly shaking. Do they know these people disrupted the election and ran away? So how would the UK government identify these people? First of all, do they ever travel? Can they afford to travel? That's the thing, because most times when you check it, when you streamline the living conditions of people who are used for this kind of cases, I don't think that is in their area of thinking. Maybe the highest ambition is maybe to use thuggery to maybe find themselves into a position in politics and not necessarily plan to travel now. So when we say when I hear polls will take action against electoral violence instigators, UK government. In fact, this story itself, it brings me into thinking deeper. How do you know what electoral violence instigator means? How do you know this statement or this action is instigating violence?
How do we define?
Yes, how do we define it? Is it just those who try to cause chaos and fight at the polling unit, or those who started the wars on Twitter and continued on Instagram and moved to Facebook and then brought it physically to the streets? So yeah, I appreciate what they're saying, but I think it's worth going deep into to find out. And is that the only? Yeah, that's what they can do. They can't come in to punish them. That's like, because of our sovereignty, these international bodies can't come to say we are arresting this. They can only say you can't come into our space. That's where they can stop it. But within our space here in Nigeria, how are we managing these issues? 0700-1021-1021. You can call us. Apologies for those that are trying to reach us, and somehow the service providers are really throwing you off. But you can do well to send a message 0907-224-5018. Since we're talking about elections, let me read another trending matter, and that is jubilation in Abia as OT wins, Mba emerges in Enugu. Now, I'm reading this because this is a place where I know very well, and I have visited, and I know that their roads are bad. There's no political statement here. There's no way to hide it. If you have been to Aba, you know that that city is under, you know how they say that a place is supposed to be better. The level of production that comes out of that place is supposed to reflect in the
area, the location.
Dear Sarah, it's not reflecting. That's where I bought my NYSC kit because before going for NYSC, I did some travels. I traveled to some states, Delta State, Abia State. From Abia, I moved to Akwa Ibom. Now, the distance between Aba to Uyo is supposed to be a very short distance. If you see the road, oh my goodness, it is bad. It is terrible. Where they can even boast of good roads in Abia is Umuahia. But you see, which is the capital, but you see that Aba where you hear goods are coming in, the roads are terrible. Let's just say the blunt truth. I stayed for weeks. Electricity is lottery. Nothing to. I didn't see. It didn't flinch for weeks. It didn't blink, except it had. Although inside the village, inside the remote village, there was electricity. Wow. In the city, yes, it's so shocking. Inside the village, the power supply, okay. In the city where people live and do business, and
there was
no power. So I that's why when I see that they are jubilating, my question is, after 4 years, I hope that this jubilation will be maintained. I hope that you all can see the visible changes that have occurred, because the things they need are basic. They are basic needs. They are not even. In Lagos, maybe what they are talking about is living in peace, in harmony. No, these ones, they are all mostly from one part of the country, mostly indigenes of that state, or maybe people from other states, Imo, Akwa Ibom, maybe Port Harcourt. Sarah, their infrastructure is terrible. That's just how to put it. Their roads are bad, So I hope that while they are felicitating, they are able to remember what is going on. But Sarah, look at this matter.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, before we wrap it up on newspaper review today, he's back in the news. Are you shocked?
Well, I'm not. I'll say that this is Nigeria.
Okay.
Like I was telling a friend yesterday, sometimes issues come up and we get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
We focus on those issues, and then after a while,
we move
on. Another issue comes up. We focus on that issue, and then wait for some time, and then you realize that one of the issues you forgot 3 months ago just resurfaces.
Yeah.
So that's what has played out here. It's not as though Abba Kyari the conversation has not been going on, but the other issues going on in Nigeria seem to have overshadowed that conversation. But this particular issue now coming up, I'm not surprised. I'm not moved, because he has been in the news for a while. That's the same thing that happened with this organ
Ekweremadu, yeah.
This conversation around organ donor and all that. For a while, the conversation, it felt like we're not seeing it. And then we just took a breather and it came up again. And now it looks like we're not seeing it again. So that's what just played out here.
I even, in fact, that is even far. As at Sunday, I forgot about the cash crunch. As at Sunday, because
of the elections.
Yes. When I remember that, oh my God, I don't have cash, I think it was already Tuesday or Wednesday.
Is anybody talking about the petrol?
Well, petrol scarcity will come up. Okay, so Ramadan is here. Easter is coming. Maybe when the holidays starts, when we get back into the part where, you know, there's a public holiday or people want to travel and they realize that the price fares have gone up, you now hear drivers say petrol scarcity.
Has anybody, for a while now, has anybody actually talked about the price of diesel? I feel like everybody has adjusted to it.
Yeah, and so, in fact, matter of fact, there was a time that bread was on the news. There was a time that rice, the amount of a bag of rice was major headline, major.
And it's not as if these things are still not expensive.
They are.
It's just that the conversation seems to have, you know, diverted to something else.
Yeah, we forget very quickly. And that's why in this period when people are jubilating that certain leaders are in power, do not forget that as much as it feels like your person or the person you voted for has won and you feel you have a sense of fulfillment, remember the things that were the problems you wanted resolved before this person get into power, and try to do a what's the word now, you know how you do a checklist, yes, and make sure that this person is fulfilling what they say they would do and they have achieved it.
Right, that's it. Esther has said it. But our time is fast spent right now. We would need to go. It's been an interesting conversation. We're so sorry we couldn't take your calls. We saw them coming in, but there seemed to be some form of network glitch, so we couldn't take the calls. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember to follow us across our social media platforms at High Impact 1021 FM and on Instagram at @newsaroundtheglobe_. Remember to stay safe. Till I see you next time, I am Sarah Osanta.
On Record comes up at 9 a.m. a roundtable conversation. You really do want to join that conversation. If you need to, take out some time to listen, if you need to be in a quiet place to join the conversation or stream online, get ready at 9 a.m. You would hear us live right here on your Urban Lifestyle station. But till I see you next time, do stay safe. I'm Esther Kalu.
Did you have a rough day? Or is it the loan sharks that are calling you back to back?